2025 was a wild ride on Parliament Hill, and that roller coaster started pretty much a full year ago. With his take on the highs and lows is our own David Akin. David, thank you so much for joining us. You have been on Parliament Hill for more than 20 years now. Has this been one of the most tumultuous years you've seen?
Oh, easily. This time last year, Ben, we were probably thinking about who's going to be in Prime Minister Pierre Poilievre's cabinet. I mean, that's where we were last year, dominantly by the Conservatives, and then everything turned upside down. Mark Carney's arrival, Justin Trudeau's departure, that election campaign, very strange election campaign, the first one in all the 7 or 8 that I've done, trying to track the Conservative leader without the Conservative leader's assistance. Remember, they kept us off the plane. They wouldn't let us travel with them. We did nonetheless. But a campaign defined by 2 issues: price, cost of living, affordability. And on that one, I thought Poilievre carried the day. But more Canadians, it seemed, voted on the threat of Donald Trump and tariffs. And on that issue, Mark Carney carried the day. And as a result, squeaked through with a minority. So when I say squeaked through, he was this close to a majority. So again, you think about it. We were talking about Poilievre's cabinet, who's going to be his finance minister. And there we go to a just missed renewal of a Liberal majority. What an election.
All right, let's get to your top 3 topics of 2025.
Well, I think that, the election was the top topic. There's just no getting around it. But falling from that, I think, is Pierre Poilievre. Mark Carney's a character that the country is still getting to know, but Pierre Poilievre did such a good job marketing himself after winning the 2022 Conservative leadership race that he created this force, if you will. And I saw it on the campaigns. There would be thousands, literally thousands, biggest rallies I've ever seen in a Canadian political context, come to Pierre Poilievre's rallies. And they wanted to see the greatest hits of all the rhymes and slogans that he'd sort of created over the previous 2 years. It ended up actually boxing him in a bit. He couldn't respond to the likes of Donald Trump or whatever the way he might want it to, because these crowds, he became a rock star. And then he lost his own seat, his seat here in the Ottawa area. He was my MP, actually. Yeah. And in that seat, he lost, had to win back a by-election. And then we get fast forward to the fall, he loses 3 MPs. One decides to quit politics altogether. That's Edmonton's Matt Genereux. We'll see if he quits sometime in January, February. We haven't seen hide nor hair of him since he said he'd quit. Yeah. And then 2 defections to the Liberals. And now Mark Carney's 1 seat short of that majority.
Yeah, David,
Poilievre's got to face
it. Poilievre did a very good, possibly too good of a job defining himself in relation to Justin Trudeau. He did such a good job doing that when Justin Trudeau went the way of the dodo bird, a redefinition was very hard to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Poilievre was built to beat Trudeau. And he did. Trudeau quit rather than get beat, or his party forced him to quit. Is he built to take on Mark Carney? That is the question. I was just about to say that Poilievre is facing a leadership review at the end of January. We're pretty sure he's going to do it, but if he loses another MP, I don't know. But the question on that ballot box issue will be for Poilievre, can he beat Carney, yes or no? And if the answer is yes, he's going to get another crack at it. All
right, what else you got for us?
Well, along with the Conservatives and some of the issues they had, a very successful year. They got all sorts of votes, etc. Is the New Democrats. The New Democrats, yes, they lost seats to the Liberals. That happens all the time. NDP, Liberal, back and forth. But the big thing here was New Democrats lost a pile of votes to Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives, who did a great job winning over working class men and women, particularly younger men in Windsor, Ontario, on Vancouver Island, in Northern Ontario. If the NDP can't win those seats back, that's it for the NDP.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The NDP seemed to be overly focused on struggles on the other side of the world. And Pierre Poilievre comes in, and I guess the union members are thinking to themselves, okay, well, maybe he's not the biggest fan of collective bargaining, but he's going to put us all back to work.
Yep. Well, I think the federal NDP should take their lesson from Wab Kinu's NDP in Manitoba, Carla Beck's NDP in Saskatchewan, David Eby's NDP even in BC. 2 premiers there, one an official opposition leader. They focus on kitchen table issues. They don't get baited into what I'll broadly call woke issues. And conservative parties tried to bait them into taking up issues around pronouns or whatever it might be. And those 3 New Democrats that said, I don't want anything to do with that. We're going to talk about putting people to work, talking about health care, affordability. That's what Pierre Poilievre was talking about, and that's why he won so many people in Manitoba and Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC that would vote NDP provincially, but they voted federally for the Conservatives.
David, shouldn't the Conservatives federally be hoping for a resurgence of the NDP? That eats away traditionally from the left flank of the Liberals.
Yeah, those are the easy snapbacks. I agree, and that is going to help the Conservatives. There's no question about it. So we'll see. Are we going to have an election in 2026? I think Carney gets his extra floor crosser before the House comes back, and so no election in 2026.
Well, that doesn't mean we're not going to be relying on you each and every week for incisive analysis, my friend. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, David.
Thanks. You too, Ben. Cheers.